Namaskar and Adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan, once more with you from your very own channel Astro Assurance. Every now and then when I post a video about certain topics, I get a number of comments in the comment section asking me about clarity about those placements. Sometimes I get WhatsApp messages, sometimes people write long emails to explain to me about their placements, why do they think that their placement should say something or not say something, asking me for validation and so forth. And even when I put a video yesterday about the 6 house lords conjunctions with different planets, again I got a number of comment section and a few WhatsApp messages as well. Now what I want to do is, because I have done a number of series on conjunctions, for example I have done a series of conjunctions of each house lord with every other house lord, then I have done a conjunction of every planet with every other planet, every combination that you can think of: Sun with Mars, Sun with Moon, Jupiter with Saturn, Rahu with Saturn, Venus with Mercury, Venus with Mars. Every conjunction I have explained in a series of videos which are all there. Please check out my playlist, you will be getting more details about it. Yet I every now and then get questions about what does this conjunction mean, what does that conjunction mean. In fact, I have also done the explanation of conjunction between the Atma Karaka, the Amatya Karaka, then some very important conjunctions in the form of yogas or doshas also. For example, the Shrapit dosha, which is the conjunction between Saturn and Rahu, the Vish dosha, which is a conjunction between Saturn and Moon, the Gajkesari yoga, which is a conjunction between Jupiter and Moon, then the Chandramangal yoga, which is a conjunction between Mars and Moon, and so forth. So we already have done a number of conjunctions so far, yet I see a number of times people keep asking for doubts. So what I want to do is, this is a video where I want to talk a number of combinations, permutations, good conjunctions and bad conjunctions. This is like a Gagar mein Sagar, where I'll give you a snapshot, a very small piece about more or less the most important conjunctions which can happen. So let's jump right into it and see how different types of conjunctions can work out different modalities for us, different manifestations for us. So for that, firstly we need to understand what is a conjunction. A conjunction is nothing but a yoga or a coming together of energies. Here I am not talking about some yogas which are in mutual aspect of planets. For example, Jupiter and Moon can mutually aspect each other and still form the Gajkesari yoga. Here I am talking about conjunctions where planets are placed together in the same sign or the same house. Sometimes the planets may be placed in different signs, yet they may be placed in the same house. For example, if a planet is at 28 degrees of Aries, so it is in the Aries sign, but the other planet is at 2 degrees of Taurus, which is in another sign. But by virtue of, say, the ascendant being at 20 degrees, then the conjunction occurs in the first house between those two planets, because the degree of the ascendant is such. And even if whatever may be the degree of the ascendant, whatever is the placement of whichever sign the planets are placed in, whichever house they are placed in, if the degree difference between one planet to the other is less than 10 degrees, then it is a true conjunction which will manifest itself. After the 10-degree difference between the planets, for every degree increase in the difference between the two planets, the conjunction will become weaker and weaker and will not manifest itself. The strongest conjunctions are obviously the planets being at the same degrees or 0-degree difference between them, and they will still remain very strong even till 6 or 7 degrees. After that, the conjunction will still be true even after 2 or 3 degrees, though it will slightly come to be slightly weaker. But after 10 degrees, when the difference of degrees between the planets is increasing by 1 degree each, then the conjunction becomes very, very weak. Here the conjunction of the Sun with the planets is important, because Sun at 0 degrees with any planet cannot be termed as a conjunction, because the planet gets combusted. Now different planets have been given different degrees at which they get combusted by the Sun. However, as a general rule, any conjunction of a planet with Sun, if the conjunction is less than 7 to 8 degrees, then more or less you can say the planet is combusted, and Sun will hold sway. Sun will absorb their power, and Sun will also manifest the results of the planet in the Sun's Dasha and Antardasha, and in the Sun's transit as well. And this is true only for Sun. For any other two planetary conjunctions or coming together of energies, 0 degrees to 10 degrees is a pretty strong conjunction. But with Sun, a strong conjunction is only when the degree difference is between 7 to 8 degrees up till 12 degrees. After the 12 degrees, the conjunction between Sun and the other planet becomes weaker. So for example, Sun and Mercury are the two entities which are regularly in conjunction with most of the horoscopes here. If the degree difference between Sun and Mercury is more than 8 degrees but less than 12 degrees, then it can be said to be a tight conjunction or a good conjunction rather than a tight one. And here the Buddha Aditya yoga, which is an auspicious yoga, will showcase or demonstrate itself. But because in most of the horoscope we don't find the degree difference between Sun and Mercury to be more than 9 to 10 degrees, generally the degree difference will be 6, 7, 8 up till 10 degrees. So in most of the horoscopes, the Buddha Aditya yoga does not showcase itself that prominently. So remember this, that between any two planets coming together when the degree difference is less than 10 degrees, it's a strong conjunction, except maybe Sun. Then different types of conjunction. The conjunction between a planet which is in direct motion and a planet which is in retrograde motion. So if a planet which is lower in degrees is retrograde and the planet which is higher in degrees is direct, and if the degree difference is more than 11 to 12 degrees, but even if it's less than 15 degrees, yet the conjunction is not very strong because the planet in lower degrees is moving away and the planet in high degrees is moving further away. So the planets are moving away from each other and there is still a degree difference between them up to 11 to 12 degrees. So this conjunction will not strongly manifest itself. On the other hand, if a retrograde planet is at higher degrees and a direct planet is at lower degrees, and if the degree difference is up to 11 and 12 degrees, even up to 13 or 14 degrees, yet you can say it's a true conjunction because the planet in high degrees is retrograde while the planet in lower degrees is in direct motion. Then if a planet is in lower in degrees and another planet is higher in degrees, and if the planetary degrees difference between them is less than 10 degrees, then the planet in lower degrees will manifest itself stronger than the planet which is in higher degrees. So for example, if there is a Gajkesari yoga between Moon and Jupiter, and if Moon is in lower degrees than Jupiter, while the degree difference is not more than 10 degrees, so this is the strong Gajkesari yoga. But here the attributes of Moon will be stronger than that of Jupiter. On the other hand, if Jupiter is lower in degrees, then the attributes of Jupiter will be stronger. So while Moon is stronger, the material assets may be more manifesting themselves, the person may be more good looking, maybe slightly on the emotional side, but where Jupiter is lower in degrees and is stronger in the conjunction, then the wisdom, the educational capability, the learning capability of Jupiter will manifest itself, and the expansion, the abundance orientation of Jupiter will manifest itself. So sometimes people ask why my Gajkesari yoga is so strong, yet I am not getting material benefits. In that case, usually it may be seen that Jupiter is in lower in degrees, or the conjunction is not tight enough, or there are other issues because of which the conjunction is losing its strength. So remember this, a conjunction of two planets coming together because the degree difference between them is less than 10 degrees usually can either inflict on each other. One planet can inflict because of one planet not going along with the other planet's energies, can bring in negative effects, or the planet can act as a catalyst where both of them are increasing each other's energies. For example, in a Gajkesari yoga between Moon and Jupiter, or in the Chandra Mangal yoga between Moon and Mars, or they can at least add on to strength of each other, if not exponentially increasing it as if it's a catalyst. Then conjunctions between benefic planets is a better conjunction rather than a conjunction between a malefic. Now here when I'm talking about two benefic planets, I'm talking about benefic to the particular ascendant. For example, Venus and Mercury conjunction for a Cancer ascendant native is a conjunction of two malefics, because for a Cancer ascendant native, both Mercury and Venus, while being natural benefics, are functional malefics for a Cancer ascendant native. On the other hand, conjunctions between one malefic and one benefic usually will also not be the best of situations for a person. However, if for a particular ascendant, the malefic is a functional benefic, for example, for a Taurus ascendant native, the conjunction between Venus and Saturn, here for a Taurus ascendant native or even for a Libra ascendant native, Saturn is the strong Yoga Karaka planet. So here, if Venus and Saturn come together, Venus is the natural benefic and Saturn is a natural malefic. However, for Taurus or Libra ascendant natives, Saturn is a functional benefic. So here, the conjunction between Venus and Saturn is not that bad. In fact, it may add to the layers of good results that the conjunction can give, though it will be slowed down and the person will have to work harder and be more patient before the good results come by. On the other hand, if for ascendant the conjunction is between two malefics, functional or natural malefics, then it can be a tough situation. For example, as I said, the conjunction between Venus and Mercury for a Cancer ascendant native can bring in some challenges, even though Venus and Mercury are natural benefics. On the other hand, for an Aries ascendant native, the conjunction between Sun and Mars, though they are natural malefics, yet they are functional benefics for Aries ascendant native or for Leo ascendant native. So here they become a good conjunction because Sun and Mars energies coming together means a strong conjunction of functional benefics for either an Aries ascendant native or a Leo ascendant native, or even for a Sagittarius ascendant native. On the other hand, if it's a functional or natural benefic for a certain ascendant and it's conjunct with another functional as well as natural malefic for that particular ascendant, then it can give you some tougher denotation, especially depending on which planet is lower in degrees. For example, for a Taurus ascendant native, the conjunction between Sun and Venus, where Venus is both a natural benefic as well as a functional benefic for a Taurus ascendant native, whereas Sun is both a natural malefic as well as a functional malefic for Taurus ascendant native. Here the challenges could be higher, especially if Sun is lower in degrees and Venus is in higher degrees, and the conjunction between them, the degree difference between them is between 7 to 10 degrees. Then Sun can add more challenges to the native because of Sun being the functional malefic as well as the natural malefic, and if it's lower in degrees, it can add more challenges. Then conjunction between, say for example, the Atma Karaka and the Amatya Karaka. Here, if the conjunction is tight, if the degree difference is not more than 10 degree difference, then here they can act as mutual supporting energies to each other. So whichever is the planet which is lower in degrees will add to the energies and support the manifestation of the planet which is in higher degrees. Say for example, the conjunction between the Atma Karaka and the Amatya Karaka, the two planets with the highest and the second highest degrees, which means obviously the Amatya Karaka is lower in degrees, and then if they are in the same house, then it also means they are also in the same sign. So here this is the powerful conjunction, and especially if both of them are functional benefics for the ascendant, this is a very powerful conjunction where the Amatya Karaka will help in the spiritual denotation of the Amatya Karaka and will help and aid in the spiritual manifestation of the person and the spiritual elevation of the soul. On the other hand, if the conjunction is between the Atma Karaka and the Dara Karaka, and what does it mean? Dara Karaka is the planet lowest in degrees, where the Atma Karaka is the planet highest in degrees. So here the Dara Karaka is lowest in degrees. So Dara Karaka will support the manifestation of the Atma Karaka, which means your spouse could also help you in your spiritual denotation. The objectives of the soul, the elevation of the soul will also happen with the help and support of the spouse also helping you and supporting you. On the other hand, the conjunction between the Amatya Karaka and the Dara Karaka, which means they are also not only in the same house, but they are probably also in the same sign. So here the Dara Karaka, the spouse, may also help in the karma, the work, the career of the person, aiding in the help and support of the person. Now some conjunctions, irrespective of what ascendant you may be, they may be either less infliction oriented or highly infliction oriented. For example, the conjunctions, as I said earlier, the conjunction between Saturn and Moon, which is the Vish dosha, or Saturn and Rahu, which is the Shrapit dosha, curse like dosha, or a conjunction between Saturn and Ketu or Saturn and Sun, all of these are strongly challenging doshas, not just a conjunction, but they are doshas as well. Then conjunction between Rahu Moon, Rahu Sun, Rahu Venus, Rahu Jupiter, which is the Guru Chandal dosha, then Rahu Mars, which is the Angakaraka dosha, then Ketu Moon, Ketu Sun, Ketu Venus. Conjunction between two natural benefics may also be functional benefics for a certain ascendant, yet a conjunction between Jupiter and Mercury will usually be also giving you challenges because they are opposite end of the spectrum, their meanings are different. Similarly, Jupiter and Venus, they are the gurus of two opposite camps, and that too, these two conjunctions will also bring in challenges to the person, even in for some ascendant both of them are both of them are natural malefics, or even one of them is a functional malefic. And some conjunction which generally, even in almost every ascendant, will give you some good results and sometimes more good results. For example, the conjunction between Saturn and Mercury generally will give you good results. Similarly, the conjunction between Saturn and Jupiter again will give you good results. Even if for some ascendant one of them is a functional malefic, the challenges may also come in, but the benefic results will also showcase themselves. And a tricky conjunction which some people may not consider it to be good, but I consider it to be a good one, which is between Rahu and Mercury. Then usually Rahu and Ketu are supposed to eclipse the Sun and the Moon. However, if the degree difference between Rahu and Sun is between 10 to 15 degrees, it's not less than 10 degrees, but it is not more than 15 degrees. So here the eclipse is not true, but the conjunction is true. Here the energies are coming together in a synergy of energies. It is not Rahu eclipsing the Sun, because the degree difference between Rahu and Sun is more than 10 degrees but less than 15 degrees, which means this is a true conjunction and not an eclipse. Similarly, the same case between Ketu and Moon and Ketu and Sun as well. Then some very good conjunctions which are good yogas also. For example, Jupiter and Moon, Venus and Mercury, Sun and Mars, Sun and Jupiter, Sun and Moon, Mars and Jupiter, and even to a certain extent Mars and Mercury. All of these are good conjunctions, whatever may be the ascendant. For some ascendant they may be less beneficial, with some challenges may be, but generally they will give you good results. But it depends on their particular native, how the person understands the energies of the planets and then uses them to their advantage and avoids the challenges that this conjunction can bring to the person's life. Then in general, the general rule, the conjunction between the Kendra houses 1, 4, 7 and 10 usually are called a Raja Yoga. So these generally bring you good results. Even if there is one functional malefic involved here, still they may give you maybe mixed results, but there may be more good results rather than challenging results. Similarly, the conjunction between a trine house, which is between one of the Kendra houses 1, 4, 7 and 10, or one of the trine houses between 1, 5 and 9. The first house is considered both a Kendra house and a trine house. So a conjunction between the 5th lord and the 1st lord, conjunction between the 4th lord and the 9th lord, or a conjunction between the 5th lord and the 10th lord are all supposed to be good conjunction. Generally they'll bring you good results, even if one of them involved is a malefic, or even if both of them are malefics, yet they will give you some good results and slightly less challenging results, because these are Raj Yogas. Then some good conjunctions, especially if the energies are not malefic to each other. So conjunction between the 2nd house lord and the 11th house lord, the conjunction between the 1st house lord and the 11th house lord, the conjunction between the 3rd house lord and the 9th house lord, very good for publication, very good for people who have good writing ability, very good for teaching, very good for higher studies and using higher studies or education for your own benefits, very good for business, especially if the 3rd lord and the 11th lord are coming together. However, tricky conjunction can be between the 2nd house lord and the 12th house lord, between the 2nd house lord and the 8th house lord, the 2nd house lord and the 6th house lord, 6th and the 8th house lord conjunct together, 6th and the 12th house lord conjunct together, especially because of the Dustan energies. Then between the 3rd lord and the 10th lord, because here career is involved on one side and effort is involved on the other side. So in the matters of career, the conjunction between the 3rd house lord and the 10th house lord will make the person work very hard to be able to get results of better results from the career. Then the conjunction between the 4th house lord and the 6th house lord. 4th house is your assets, your peace of mind, your mental bliss, your happiness in life, and then connected or conjuncted with the 6th house lord of issues, enemies or sicknesses, or the 4th and the 8th house lord. 8th house is obstacles, challenges, issues, problems. 4th and the 12th house lord, 12th house is the house of waste, excess, losses. Unless there is, for example, between the 4th and the 12th house lord, if the 12th house lord goes and sits in the 12th house lord with the 12th lord, then this can also show that the person may also go abroad and in a foreign land. So initially there may be trouble, but later on the person will only gain. Then the conjunction between the 1st and the 2nd house lord, or you can other side, or the other way you can say the conjunction between the 1st lord and the 12th lord mean the same thing. For example, the conjunction between the 1st lord and the 2nd house lord is where the 1st lord is 12 to the 2nd house, where the 2nd house lord is 2nd to the 1st house lord. So these conjunctions can also bring in some benefits, but also can bring in more challenges, especially depending on which house the conjunction is in. So such conjunction between the second and third house, or the third or the second house lord, or 6 and 7, or 7 or 6, or 8 and 9, or 9 on 8, or 10 and 11, or 11 and 12. Here some challenges, some issues may come in, but also gains may come in depending on again which house the conjunction occurs in. And obviously, as we said, the conjunction between the 6-8, 6-12, 8-12 house lords are also trouble bringing. They will bring in some issues, challenges also, though there are some deeper manifestation of these conjunctions as well. So friends, we have talked about a number of conjunctions. We have talked about Atma Karaka, Amatya Karaka, Atma Karaka, Dara Karaka. We have talked about house lords. We have talked about the Kendra and the trine house lords. We have talked about the 12 and the first house conjunctions, or 1 or 2 to each other, or 12 or first to each other. We have talked about specific planets. We have talked about malefics and benefics. We have talked about benefics and benefics. We have talked about specific doshas. We have talked about specific yogas. We have talked about a number of things, including retrograde and direct planets, including eclipse oriented planets, including functional benefics and functional malefic, and so on. So we have given you a huge repertoire of information in this video, but I have made specific videos, individual videos, and all of these combinations in separate videos. I will try and give you the links in the comment section below, but I wanted to bring together one video where most of the information about conjunctions you should be able to get in one place. So try to make this video. If I find that I have missed out on some information, I may come out with part 2 of overall understanding of most conjunctions which we can look at, which can talk about, but that is for some other time. So friends, understand your conjunctions better, learn to understand the deeper manifestation of those, which planets are involved, whether they are malefics or they are benefics, or it's a dosha or a yoga, then use those conjunctions to your advantage. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me with the link given below. Till some other time, some other video, this is your friend astrologer and guide Irfan signing off. Ciao.